Hello ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, my name is Dominic, and in today's video I thought that in honour of the new Wonder Woman movie hitting theatres soon, which I cannot wait to see, what we do is we take a look at the top 10 most badass women in Game of Thrones. Now first up, just a quick disclaimer, this list is entirely subjective, okay, so I don't expect anybody else's list to align perfectly with mine, but instead of getting all crazy, angry and vitriolic, why not put your top 10 in the comments below so that we can have a calm and reasoned discussion. We're all Game of Thrones fans, we're all on the same side here, people. Oh, and also spoilers ahoy. Anyway, let's get started. At number 10 we have Paramour of the Red Viper and the newly self-styled Princess of Dawn, Arya Sand. Now I'll be the first person to admit that the way the show has handled Dawn so far has been a huge disappointment, but if there's one saving grace, it's been the rise of Arya Sand and her lovely but deadly sand snakes. Arya is a walking, talking embodiment of the adage that hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. Not only has she managed to enact vengeance upon the Lannisters by killing Cersei's daughter Marcella, but she also managed to stage a successful coup within Dawn, deposing Prince Doran Martell and his guard and taking power for herself. Now that is one hell of a lady. At number 9 we have everybody's favourite cat-eyed goddess Margaery Tyrell. From the moment that we're introduced to Margaery, we're shown that here we have somebody that is a much more savvy version of Sansa Stark. Margaery wants to be queen, it's her one true ambition, and in order to achieve said goal, she knows she has to play the Game of Thrones, and boy does she. Margaery is able to use both her considerable intellect and her feminine wiles to her advantage, manipulating and outmaneuvering kings, queens and small folk alike. It's such a shame that she went out the way she did, as King's Landing will undoubtedly be worse off for her absence. At number 8, who else could it be but the lady who taught Margaery everything she knows about the Game of Thrones, Lady Olenna Tyrell, better known to the Seven Kingdoms as the Queen of Thorns. Now although she is the mother of Lord Mace Tyrell, Lady Olenna has shown herself to be the true power in Highgarden. She doesn't cower before anybody, even Tywin Lannister, and she seems to have an ability to gauge the nature of a person in an instant. It's pretty much all but confirmed that it was her scheming that led to the poisoning of King Joffrey Baratheon in order to spare her beloved grandchild Margaery the anguish of marrying him. As things currently stand, Lady Olenna has been robbed of a legacy by Cersei Lannister. I can't wait to find out what she does next. At 7 we have the Red Woman herself, Melisandre. If priests at my church growing up looked anything like this, I'd probably be a crazed fundamentalist by now. Melisandre serves one person and one person only, and that person could very well be a god or perhaps something more sinister. In acquiescing to her Lord of Light, we've seen Mel cheat death, give birth to a demon shadow baby, and even convince parents to sacrifice their child to the flames in what was surely the hardest to watch scene in the show's entire run. Her methods may range from questionable to downright despicable, but if there's one thing that you can say about this lady, it's that she's determined. At 6 we have a woman as fierce and willful as the Iron Islands from which she hails, Yara Greyjoy. The only daughter of Lord Balon Greyjoy, even her father had the good sense to see that of his surviving children, Yara was the one best suited to rule. Clever, forward-thinking and tough, Yara Greyjoy is the swashbuckling adventurer the show would be wise to utilise a lot more than it already has. With the return of her nefarious uncle Euron, however, we just might get to see her rally the Iron Islands to a cause much greater than herself. At 5, who else could it be but everybody's favourite ginger wildling, sorry Tormund, Ygritte the Spearwife. Let's be honest, it wasn't just Jon that fell in love with Ygritte across her time in the show, we all did too. She was quick-witted, fearless, sexually self-assured, and yet still vulnerable and somewhat tragic. Not to mention one hell of an archer. She was enough to make any man break his vows of celibacy and has been sorely missed since her departure from the show. Rose Leslie did a fantastic job bringing this wildling Wonder Woman to life and gave us one of the show's greatest catchphrases in doing so, because let's be honest,
you know nothing, Jon Snow.
At 4, it's none other than nobody's favourite queen of the Seven Kingdoms, Cersei Lannister. Say what you want about her and there is a lot to say. Cersei Lannister has raised herself from prisoner of the faith to queen of the Andals and the First Men with nothing but cunning and ingenuity. Once wife of King Robert Baratheon, she sets events in motion that would lead to his undoing and the crowning of her son Joffrey as king. When Ned Stark threatened to expose her and her brother's incestuous relationship, she outmaneuvered him and had him deemed a traitor, which led to his beheading. She's proven time and time again that it isn't wise to get her back up against the wall, because that's when she's most liable to strike. And now, with the loss of all 3 of her and Jaime's children, Cersei has nothing to comfort her but her willingness to destroy her enemies, and let me tell you, I wouldn't bet against her. At number 3 we have no one, because a girl is no one. But of course no,
A girl is Arya Stark of Winterfell. And I'm going home.
What is there to say about tomboy turned assassin Arya Stark that hasn't been said already? Arya, perhaps more than anybody else on the show, has proven herself a survivor. After witnessing the death of her father, she is then traipsed all across Westeros only to again be there for the deaths of her mother and brother. Eventually she leaves the country for Essos only to be nearly stabbed to death by her bully at assassin school. This young Stark has been through the ringer, but by God has she come out the other side stronger for it. With new face stealing abilities and a to kill list to work through, we can bet there will be a lot more badassery to come from this one. Act 2, we have big bad Brienne of Tarth, the woman who beat the Hound in single combat. I'm going to say that again. This woman beat the Hound in single combat. The Hound. Now that's badass. Brienne is a devoted champion and all-around decent person who has endured some unfortunate circumstances but still manages to prove her worth to whomever she is charged with protecting. She's fought a bear, technically killed a king, and made good on her promise to find Sansa Stark. She wields the Valyrian steel sword Oathkeeper as gifted to her by Jaime Lannister and could well prove to be instrumental in the oncoming War for the Dawn. Oh, and did I mention that she beat the Hound in single combat? Because she did, she beat the Hound in single combat. Yeah, I just thought I'd let you know that. At number 1, and yes, you all saw this coming, it's none other than Daenerys Targaryen. Now, I can hear the collective groan through my computer screen as Dany seems to be experiencing a bit of backlash due to just being so darn popular. But let's take a look at this objectively, shall we? Daenerys Targaryen has gone from being human trafficked as a sex slave by her own brother, to Khaleesi of the Dothraki and the Great Grass Sea, to the Mother of Dragons, to the Unburnt, to the Breaker of Chains, to Queen of Meereen, who also considers herself Queen of the Andals and the Rhoynar and the First Men. She has amassed armies and swayed sellswords to her cause. She has inspired loyalty in traitors, destroyed institutions that have stood for generations, and brought about sweeping social change in a part of the world that has long been considered intractable. And now she's heading for Westeros to claim what she sees as hers by right, the Iron Throne. Now come on, it doesn't get much more badass than that. Thank you everybody for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and seriously, let me know your top 10 down below as I'd love to compare and contrast lists. Also, thanks for the great response to my recent reaction video to the latest Game of Thrones trailer. I did say I would be taking an in-depth look at the trailer now. While I never got around to uploading anything on the channel, I did participate in a 2-hour long breakdown over on Sir Hunt's Reviews channel, which you can check out now. I'll leave a link in the subscription for you. Don't forget to subscribe to him as well, as he makes great Game of Thrones content. Anyway, thanks for watching, give us a like and a sub if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you all again soon.